This is a stellar crowd that we have here. These are the hosting masters of the world. So appreciate you guys coming up.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'll be in the chat helping folks out, taking questions as well. So if anybody has any questions in the chat, just feel free to drop them there. And we have the recording on, so go ahead, Unka.
All right, sure. Let's explore. Wow, look at this. We got a stacked house. So everybody, welcome. We're doing the second episode of tutorial series. Last time we went through a pretty in-depth overview and installation process, and today we're going to be a little more succinct about a couple of hosting options, and some of these will also show you how to get a world started without having to do anything on the terminal like that. And so, yeah, if you did go through the process of creating one locally and now you're ready to host it, which would mean that you're making it available to the greater world so that they can join your world and you can network things together, then these are going to be a couple of the options. And so we're going to go through a self-hosted option or two, and then a couple of providers that from the community that are offering pretty much one, two, three click solutions for you for a small price. Self-hosting also comes with a small price, but yeah, so I think to get started, it would be good to look at self-hosting, and Rustan here has gone through the process recently with Fly.io, which is one solution. I guess I should show the quick page that we have really quick as well. And I will pull up my screen. So if you were to be on Hyperfy.how, last time we went through the quick start, right underneath it here is the V2 hosting. So self-hosting here, there's a few different options, and each one of these has been written by somebody in the community. Fly.io is by far the easiest, and they're a really good company as well. They're pretty low cost, and Rustan recently went through the process, and it was pretty straightforward. So we're gonna concentrate on that specifically today. There are some other options here. Coolify is something that Howie's going to mention. The other ones we're not really going to get into today, but there are some guides here if you want to look through them as well. So yeah, I'll pass the floor over to you, Rustan.
Yeah, so I wanted to figure out a way to host my world myself, and thanks, shout out to Howie does it, Dr. Doge, Unka, for the help. I popped into the Chillin' Chili's Discord and sat with them for this part was like literally less than 30 minutes to get Fly.io set up, but the day before I was trying to get Oracle set up, which turned out to be a lot more complicated. And so I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was you, Unka, that recommended trying Fly.io. And so we did that, and I had already established a local scene on my computer, and I basically just followed the simple instructions of this one file using Visual Studio Code on my local scene. I added this Fly.io file, used Visual Studio Code to deploy it, and it was like ready to go pretty much, and it was pretty easy. And I don't know if you have any specific questions or anything you want me to talk about, Unka, but like my world is live at rustan.xyz. I think the hardest part was trying to get the domain set up. I had a Cloudflare domain, and connecting it to Fly.io was a little bit tricky, but I managed to do it with the help of ChatGPT. And so it's live right now at rustan.xyz. And this went live on February 14th, and as of today, I believe, let me check right now, it's currently around $1.68 or something like that. Let me see real quick. $1.36.
And that's charging you like
Say that
No,
again?
it's charging like, it's not per month, right? It's like, it's accruing charges as you go, right?
Correct. So the first 2 days, I think it was like 60 cents. And I think there's like a base charge that also accrues every day, but it doesn't like go over it. But again, I haven't made it through a full month yet, so I don't know for sure. But by watching it this last couple weeks, it's starting to add up less than when I initially started it. So I suspect it'll be around $3 a month when this month is up. But that's not to say I don't know what to expect with more bandwidth usage. If like 100 people join my world, I don't know what to expect.
Right. Or if you
Yeah.
start adding more and more of your models and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I can share my current world right now if that's helpful, but I do have some assets in there. Let's see. Oh, I guess I can't share my screen. I think I have the right.
You should be able to know.
I see it.
Yeah, try now. And then HP is giving us some information here that the on Fly.io, it's you pay for the storage all the time, so the memory that it takes to store that world, and then only paying for compute as people are using the world.
Right. Yeah. So this is like the billing section on Fly.io. Everything is pretty simple in here. It's like pretty user friendly, intuitive. Unlike Oracle, which was way more complex, and I needed like Dr. Doge to hold my hand through that stuff. And again, I made some bad decisions in the setup as far as like which Oracle server to choose, which really kind of screwed me in the long run, which made me want to try Fly.io. So I guess one tip: if you decide to go to Oracle, don't choose West Coast San Francisco. I think I can't remember, near Mountain View. Basically, it was a bad choice for my Oracle server. But as you can see here on Fly.io, it's $1.36 now. Looks like these are bandwidth charges per region, and nobody from any of these countries has been around 1 cent. I don't know if that's United States or San Jose, California, I guess. That's the one that I picked on Oracle too. So 1 cent for San Jose, which is probably me. And then these are like the base charges here. The machines, these have gone up a little bit as I've been using. I think maybe because I've been adding assets. But in my Hyperfy world, I decided to throw together my some of my CloneX assets and other assets. Like I have my Cyberbroker's truck. I have some of the assets that have been built by the community members. I have my old DeLorean monster truck. I've been messing around with how he does its awesome Blender plugin that gives me physics and colliders. And so like this one has a collider, and these statues have physics. You can push them around. Also added Ash's avatar selector that lets me put on avatar. And then this CloneX build is optimized. I went through and optimized it, and otherwise it would have been huge. That's and then the second floor, I have another avatar. So there's not a lot here, but this is what I have that currently is costing me $1.36 a month. So it's like a nice little amount. Not bad.
And then,
and what's the your CPU and RAM that you have? You're on the lowest, right? I think it's one.
On Fly.io? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think it was pretty low. I think it was like 1 gigabyte machines.
Yeah. One CPU on 1 gigabyte.
Yeah.
You can see it in the middle.
Yeah.
So like if it were to run full time, like all the months constantly on, it would be like $5.7. But it shut down when there is no call suite.
Right. Yeah, so this is pretty good for basic setups, I think.
And quick question: when it came to setting things up on using the Fly.io documentation, was that documentation, that quick start, useful, or did you find that you had to
Oh,
pull
that's
in Helm?
definitely. Well, so when I was doing it with Unka, that was still in the newer stages, so I was able to help fine tune it, and but basically
Yeah,
it
we
was
actually
like
updated it.
yeah, it was basically super simple compared to a lot of the other stuff that I've explored, and it was not super hard to figure out. There was a little bit of like, like I need to know Visual Studio Code for what I was doing, but I popping into chat with these guys, it was like pretty easy to solve.
And then when it comes to signing up for accounts, I see that you have to like do it through the terminal. Is that what you used as well, or is there like a UI?
I signed up for an account here at Fly.io.
It'll pop you into the even if you make the command in the terminal, it'll prompt you to go here and do it.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know who wrote the Fly.io thing. Did you write that, Unka? Like that was pretty smooth.
No, I think Bear made the TOML because he went through the process.
That
And
TOML, so that fly.toml, the TOML file, that's like the masterpiece of this all, I guess, because like I just basically loaded that into my local build, and then it just like pretty much did everything for me, following the instructions.
So it's basically a two-step process. It sounds like where first you do your regular Fly.io sign up screen, which takes you through the process to create an account. If you already have Fly.io, that's great. And then that fly.toml file then helps you set everything up, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I think
tweak the settings that are good for Hyperfy as far as
yeah, and I think like Unka said, like I didn't sign up for Fly.io before, or maybe I did. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But I feel like I just put the Fly TOML file, and then it popped open the sign up, and I signed in and created an account. And I could be wrong about that. Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what happened as well. When you could, and we went through the process and we documented and went back exactly what he did. So everything that's written there on the guide is the process. I can pull it up one more time, and then we can probably move on to one of the other hosting options. Everything here. First you copy this fly toml, and you're going to put it into your root of your project, which is probably named my world, unless you change that. And if it's named my world, then this needs to be my world as well. And save it. And then you go through, when you run fly launch, it will, actually, no, you have to do the fly quick start like it says here, is because you won't be able to run any fly commands until you install the fly CLI. And then once you do that, it brings you through this sign up, which will just bring you back here to sign up here. And then when you do that, you're able to run fly. So then you can run fly launch and fly deploy, which are the only two commands that you'll need to know. And yeah, the first time when you run fly launch, it'll automatically run fly deploy right afterwards. And then after that, when you're ever redeploying your world, you just run fly deploy and you won't run fly launch anymore. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Then they have good docs on how to set a custom domain. Like Rustan said, they specifically have a kind of a call out here. If you're using Cloudflare, there's a little bit of an issue that they walk you through, but for all other ones, it's pretty straightforward as far as setting C names and A names. And their guide here will do exactly what you need to do. If for some reason you're going through Cloudflare, maybe hit up Rustan and get the workaround that he had to go through, because they apparently have some issues specifically with Cloudflare, or it uses a slightly different process.
Yeah, maybe I should like screenshot my setup and detail what I did, so you can add that to its own little Hyperfy.how section, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be good.
There's something else. Oh yeah, Fly.io. What's cool about it is it has this, like, on their UI on Fly.io. There's a app interface that shows you your updates. So if you, every time you hit Fly Deploy, if you make a change to your world and you hit Fly Deploy, that will update Hyperfy. And on Fly.io, it'll say version 2, version 3. Every time you update it, it changes the version, which is really cool how it keeps that on track for you. And then yesterday, I noticed, I guess I didn't have the latest GitHub push, or pull, and so Howie and Dr. Doge helped me figure out how to update my Hyperfy dev branch. I'm trying to remember the words to the best of my abilities, but that was pretty easy to do on Visual Studio Code. So like Fly.io, I guess, doesn't update the Git dev branch, so you have to do that manually.
Nice. I think those are going to be extra screen captures as to how to go about selecting a specific branch, and maybe even using the Hyperfy package manager that we have as well out there to see if we could customize it, stretch Fly.io a little bit. HP did mention that one of the gotchas with using Fly.io will be it doesn't let you access the volume storage, basically the assets, I think, of the world. And so you're not going to be able to do a clean download backup of a world to load somewhere else. So that's something to keep in mind, that Fly.io will get you running in a world with a custom domain, but keep in mind in the long term, if you're planning to back up the world, clone it, do whatever, that you may have to consider that a little bit as something to keep in mind. Thank you, HP.
Cool, sounds good. So Howie, you want to kind of share what you've got going on?
Yes, sir. Let me get my screen going. Screen 2. Okay, so I'm going to show you Coolify. Coolify is a self-hosted, like Vercel or Netlify alternative that you can host yourself. I'm really showing this because personally, I self-host everything literally myself on a server sitting on my desk in front of me. This is what I'm running on that. So you don't have to do this on a VPS or anything like that, but you can. I'm going to show you how to do it on a VPS, and I'm also going to recommend one at the same time. But just for the ease of setting it up, but you can do this on a Raspberry Pi. You could do it on a laptop sitting in your house. Like you can technically do it on anything. So we're going to start with here. This is Spaceship. This is where I buy my domains, and I do also get my hosting from. I recommend this because you could do it all in one spot. You can buy your domain here, and it also hosts similar to Fly.io. They have a thing called Starlight Management, which is these Starlight VPS servers. Similar idea. I have a small server, one CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, 25 gig hard drive, and it's pay as you go. I think this is like less than a penny an hour or something like that. Yeah, less than penny an hour. Yeah. Same billing procedures or whatever. So basically, the way this would work is you'd buy your domain here, you would set up for your hosting here. Once you have the host set up, it's going to run you through this setup. I'll do the whole setup actually. Once you buy the host, it's going to start at this screen here where we restart the machine, right? You're going to start here at this configure screen where you would select your operating system, make a password, an SSH key, all this stuff. You don't need the SSH key. You can skip that. You're just going to make a password here. I do recommend the SSH key, but that's another story. You name your machine, that's it. It sets it up, it runs it. Once you have that, it gives you your IP here, okay? This is the IP to reach the server. The things that are important is your IP and your SSH port here that you need to remember, okay? So we're gonna take this IP to get it. This is the beginnings that we do to get it set up so that the domain name works. We're gonna go over to our DNS for our domains. I'm gonna pick a random domain I own. And you're gonna actually make A name records and put that IP address in those A name records. Just like this, 2 of them. One's going to be @ and one's going to be asterisk. You can set these to a minute. Now, when it's set like this, what this is actually doing is going to send this domain. @ is www or just the domain is going to send to this IP, and any subdomain it's also going to send. So if you did like Hyperfy.omniverse, blah, 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 it'll send that there too. So once this is set, you never have to touch the domain again. Now we go back to our Starlight management, and this is when we get into Coolify. Now from this terminal, we can actually open up a console that goes right into our window. We don't even have to SSH in or anything. I recommend learning how to do that eventually, but don't need to. Now this will bring us right into the back end of our server. Once we're in here, Coolify, when you go to your self-hosted section here, gives you one command to install Coolify. That's all you need. You just copy and paste this command here. I'm going to move this because unfortunately, in this console, I can't paste. So I'm just going to type it real quick. Don't technically need sudo here, but it can't hurt. Okay, and then once you type that and hit enter or whatever, it's going to tell you here that you don't have enough disk space. You can ignore that. That's just recommended. It's not actually how much it needs to run. We'll just give this a second, let it do its thing. It takes like, on this server, because it's slow, because it's the lowest end possible, it takes like 5 minutes, which isn't even that much for really what it is. I don't even think it takes that long, to be honest. I might be exaggerating.
So then comparing this to Fly.io, Fly.io gives you the server and the means to configure a world onto it, or like image a world into it. With Coolify, it needs to hook into some server of some kind, right? Is that about right, that you have to have a service, a VPS service?
No, you can run Coolify is just a program that runs on any PC. A VPS is just a PC technically, so it'll run on there, you know. Like I said before, you can run it on a laptop. I run it on a desktop sitting on my desk. You can run it on a Raspberry Pi. I had a Hyperfy world running on Coolify on my Raspberry Pi 4, no problem. You could easily run that and not have to pay a host and just pay whatever the electric bill is for a Raspberry Pi. I don't know, like cents a month, you know. But then you just worry, you know, it's a matter of securing your own internet if you're worried about internet security and stuff, which is another topic. But okay, so we got Coolify going. You'll get this congratulations screen here at the end when you're all done. Once we have this running, we can actually reach it from our IP here. And then :8000, which is the port that Coolify is running on. Boom, it's going to bring us up into, this is the Coolify front end. I'm actually already logged in because it saved my login, but let me just log out. It's going to bring you to this first, and you're just going to create an account. It's all like a self account, so you can put whatever here. Once you're in, that's your admin account to get into Coolify. This is what you'll see in Coolify. This is when we get to the good stuff. So the first thing we're going to do in Coolify is go to our server. You're going to have a localhost server here. This is your machine. We're going to go into here and we're going to put in the domain that you just got. So for me, it was omniverse.online. So that's the domain we just bought, right? That'll go there. We'll save that. And then we go into our proxy. Now this won't be running when you first start. It'll say start here. And this button should be lit up. If it's not lit up and it's running, you want to stop it, because by default, Coolify uses a proxy called Trafic. We want to switch it to Caddy. Caddy's way easier to configure, as you'll see, and you never have to touch it after doing one thing. So we just switch proxies, let it switch to Caddy. It'll just do its thing automatically. It'll let you know it's done. You'll see this here, basically. And then we can start the proxy again, and it'll tell you right here that the proxy is running. Then we just need to go into our configuration here for our proxy. We're going to add a new configuration, and we're going to call it Coolify. .caddy. And I'm going to copy and paste this in. I'm going to, like I said, I'll update the docs on the Hyperfy.how with all this stuff once we're done with this call, actually. So you could just copy and paste all this stuff in. And we're just going to update this here to the new domain. Okay. So now you can change this too if you wanted to, but this is going to make it so we could just go to cool.omniverse.online to get to our Coolify. So we don't have to remember the IP anymore after this. And once that's set up, I think it should already be doing it. No, not yet, but it might still be propagating that to the IP.
In the meantime, has NVIDIA asked for their domain back?
Yeah, right. Oh, duh. That's why I messed up on. Nobody called me out on it. It's Omniverse Gaming Online. That's why. Good thing I messed up, because then I show you that we all make mistakes. Omniverse Gaming Online. Save that. Go back into our proxy, dynamic config. This is good because this will show you how to make, if you make a mistake, how to fix it, because you'll see I can't edit this. We need to stop the proxy first. And then I should be able to edit it. I hope. Maybe not. Really? I'm going to have to edit that manually. Okay, this doesn't matter. Just don't mess this part up. Take notes. This is only doing the reverse proxy to Coolify anyway. This isn't going to affect our Hyperfy. And as long as you do it right the first time, you're not going to have this problem. So just make sure you don't fuck up this domain here. This isn't going to affect the rest of me showing everything, though. So now when we go back, now once that's going, your domain is set. You shouldn't have to touch anything else in that. And the rest is all Hyperfy from here on out. So now the way this works is you got your projects here. I'm going to delete this project because I will. Your projects areas are going to be anything you host. So you don't have to use this for just Hyperfy. You can use it for anything. And you can use multiple stuff on it as well, multiple Hyperfy worlds if you wanted to or whatever. But that's what projects is. It organizes all that stuff. So we're going to go to our projects. When we first get there, you'll see no project. You're going to hit add a new project, make a Hyperfy project. Then you'll get to this screen, add a new resource. You're going to add that. And now when we get here, this is where we add our resource in. So you can add a whole bunch of these pre-built things. For Hyperfy, I built a Docker Compose file that does everything for you. So you're going to hit Docker Compose empty right here. And then once again, I'll have this up for you to just copy and paste. This actually is on the GitHub repo right now. So this compose file right here is going to handle everything. It's going to pull this image of Hyperfy is just the latest dev image with my Docker file in it. So this way you can handle all this. And it's going to handle all the environment variables for you. You'll see. So we'll save that. Now it's going to spin this up here. You're going to be seen with this screen. Now your environment, it's going to show you here your admin password for the world is going to be right here, which is the most important thing that you need really. Everything else is going to be here in environment variables. If you click developer view, it's easier. And then you can see all your other variables you could change here if you want. It gives you a random secure admin password in JWT, and you can change your world name here if you wanted and all that. But then from here, if you want to change your domain, it's here. You hit that little button, and now we have where we can set our domain. So we can make it Hyperfy.Omniverse Gaming Online, or if we wanted to, we could just make it Omniverse Gaming Online like that. And you always want to leave this port number. It needs that. So we'll save that, and then we'll just start the world. It's going to pull the image for Hyperfy, build it, do the whole thing. Once Coolify has this image built, if it's not updated in between and you're just deploying another world, this process takes literal seconds. Like, it's just instant. You could spin up multiple worlds, like bam, 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 world, back, like right back and forth. And they'll all have their own domains, fully qualified, SSL to HTTPS and everything, because that's what Coolify and Caddy is taking care of for you.
So basically, this would enable you to, using that subdomain stuff, you could actually create multiple worlds very quickly to support kind of building in different environments and pushing them up to a production state, right?
Right. So what you could do is, that's a good point that you make. You could actually have a world that's a dev world that you do all your stuff in, and then you push it to a production world. You could set that up in different environments right here in Coolify as well. And you could also have it for multiple worlds for actual use case. Say I wanted Omniverse Gaming Online to be the main menu, if you will, the main hub world. And then I want, 7-Eleven.Omniverse Gaming Online to be the 7-Eleven store, and then I want Hyperfy.Omniverse Gaming Online to be a spot all about Hyperfy. You know what I mean? And like, you can set it up like that and run multiple very easily doing it this way.
Cool. Thank you.
So once you get this, it'll say started here at the bottom. You're all done. You can close this. And then this links here should just work. Let's fingers crossed it didn't fuck something up. Or not.
Your reverse proxy?
I messed up something in that. It could be, I don't think it's a reverse proxy, but I messed up something along that line. I should have, you know what I did? I should have just restarted the whole server and started from fresh, because I did this yesterday as a test, and I think I left Coolify on it, and that's probably interfering. Omniverse Gaming Online, that's right. This is right. It's propagated. It says it's online. It's pointing back to that. Let me double check my notes here. Connect to the new domain, add new project, blah, blah, blah. I think I forgot something. Configure host SSH port. Yep. Oh, no, that's set right. That's right. The host is correct, right? Yep, the internal host. I spelled it right. It's got to be. It's got to be that mistake I made.
Time thing, yeah.
Oh, the proxy stopped. That's what it is. We stopped the proxy and I never restarted it.
There we go.
Stupid things. These are mistakes that you shouldn't even run into if you follow the instructions from top to bottom.
You got a no SSH question?
There we go. World Online. And just so you can see how easy it is, let's say to spin up another world, we'll go back to localhost here, or projects here. We'll go to Hyperfy, and you'll see we have a world here. We can even real quick go name this World 1. And then we could just hit new. The Docker file again. I think I still have it pasted. I do. Paste it in. And you'll see how fast this goes too now. We'll just leave it at the same domain. Don't even worry about that right now. We'll just deploy it. That's it. World started. Now we can go. And we have a whole new world.
That's pretty cool for, yeah, definitely for spinning up test worlds and different, like you're saying, different linked elements that you could do. And
right.
Yeah.
So speaking about all that, now that we've come full circle, you kind of see how that all works. what I'm doing now with my own server, what I'm working on for the community is Hyperfy.directory. I know, Amka, you've seen this already. Is Hyperfy.directory is going to be the front end that I'm building for my Coolify instance to let you guys host on and run your own little test servers for now. Eventually, it might end up becoming like a long-term host thing, but for now, I'm just going to do it as like a, it's going to be host at your own risk. You can host for free. I'm not going to charge anything. It's more of like testing out how bad the hosting runs. Like if I can, how many worlds I can host, how that goes. I want to test all that. I wouldn't be attached to those worlds, but I am going to add a function to let you download the world. So this way you could always download it and take it somewhere else and rehost it if you wanted to. For now, you just connect your wallet. I'm going to do everything Solana at the moment because obviously Hyper. It's going to show you your balance or whatever. If you have a sole domain, it'll pull all that and post it here and use it as your profile for the future. But if you click right here, create worlds, this is actually linked to my Coolify server at the moment. I got to fix this UI, but this is linked to my Coolify server at the moment. And you can literally just go here and click create world, put in a name and a description, put whatever. These don't work at the moment, but they will. And then you could just spin up a world and it'll run it on my host from my domain for now. I'm going to make it so you can change that. But yeah, this will be available to everybody to use just to spin up test worlds and stuff, and maybe long term in the future.
4 judges.
And then just to confirm what I'm hearing is this will be tied into what you sign into your wallet. Basically, when you sign in, you'll be able to see all the worlds you created and manage them.
Yes, exactly. When you sign in, you'll see all your worlds. That's what the wallet's doing. It's acting as your account, basically. You see all your worlds that you signed in for. And it also will, it tags everything you create gets tagged with your wallet on my backend. So like in the Coolify on my backend, the world name will have your wallet in it. So I know whose wallet is whose world. So I'm not, getting confused with everything running on my side,
Very cool. For the folks on the chat, are there any other questions? There was one about SSH. I think that was more from Jin asking if there is SSH. I guess that's for Fly.io, but for Coolify, you may have skipped it roughly, but could you describe that very quickly? Just mention what security features are integrated.
So the SSH is connecting to a terminal, right? The host had that in the back end. I didn't use that because I used the UI that they provide here. That's what this console was when I brought it up in this screen here. When I go to this console, you can SSH into it though. It's got the port and the IP right there. You could just SSH into it all from the terminal. You don't have to go through this route. It's probably easier that way if you know what you're doing. It's way quicker and easier, to be honthis, but this is for the people who don't understand how to use the terminal and don't want to SSH and all that,
Makes sense. And then this is the server itself, and then once you install Coolify, most of the work config stuff that you do is in the Coolify screen.
Exactly. Exactly. Once you have Coolify running, from that point on, you're in Coolify, which is why I wanted to set up that reverse proxy in the beginning, because let's see if it actually worked. I don't think it did. This domain, Omniverse or cool.omniverse, should bring you straight, I spelled that all wrong. Should bring you straight to the Coolify. And that would be where you go to do all your interacting from that point on. You don't have to go to the server. No, it doesn't work right now because I fucked that up. Yeah, but if you set that proxy right, that would work. And then you go to there, and that's where you do all your adminning from the server for that point on. And like I said, like that's just the simple scratching the surface of what Coolify is capable of. Like it can do so much more. Like if you say you're running this and you're like, oh, I want to be able to monitor my server and make sure that like Hyperfy is not taking so much resources or whatever, you can write in the Hyperfy project, just hit new. And they supply you with so many different services you can use. One of them being Glances somewhere in here. You can just click it and deploy it, and then on the same server it deploys like a Glances. What's called it's called Glances. It's a monitoring software that lets you monitor the memory and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with Coolify from that point on that could also connect back into Hyperfy in the long run.
Very neat. And eventually we'll get our own little Hyperfy deployer that people can pick, right?
Well, that's the hope. See, I actually submitted. We should all, now that we're all here, we should all get to Coolify. I'll post the link of where I did the pull request for it. So I pull requested for them to submit my Docker file, because that Docker file for Coolify is all that they require for it to be in that spot. Like they just use a special, damn, I messed it all up. They use a special Docker file format basically that allows you to auto install like that with one click, like I did with the Glances just now.
Very cool.
So I submitted Hyperfy to be in that, and they replied, and their reply was that they will not accept it because it's quote unquote too small. They didn't explain what they meant by that, but they just said it's too small. So I gave them some time. This was like in the very first week that we started, and we didn't really have a lot going on yet. I wasn't really, the compose file wasn't really that good yet, and now it's really good. Now everything works fantastic. So I resubmitted it, and this time I was like, I don't know what you mean by too small. Like we have 25,000 followers on Twitter. You know, we have over so many stars on GitHub. Like we're not too small. Like you gotta clarify this for us. Like, so hopefully, we can get into that service list where it's just come into here. You don't have to copy and paste anything. Just hit add new service and click Hyperfy. That's the idea.
Yeah, maybe they want bloat in the file, the image. Maybe we could.
No, I did all that. I had it set up like that. You know what I think it is, to be completely honest, and it makes sense. I'm not even mad at him for it. It's a single dev that makes this whole thing, and he runs his whole thing off of donations, obviously. Like GitHub, like Patreon type style stuff. And I think he wants those services are donating. And it's not a lot. Maybe it's something we should look into, but I think that's really what it is. How he makes his livelihood. He's one guy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, especially if it's open source, basically. So, that I didn't know. So basically, the cost is only the machine compute that you're using, and like you say, Raspberry Pi, you could run this thing. It looks like.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is that everything here is free and open source and self-hosted. You do it all yourself, And if you have your own machine, you're even your own host. Like you can control from A to B. You don't have to have any middlemen.
Got it. Cool. Are there any? Yeah, you need. HP calls out and
yes, you're right. You would, depending on that. That's something we can get into a more advanced thing. I'm sorry, what HP is bringing up now in the chat. That you would need to open your ports and a static IP and stuff like that. That's very true. That's more advanced, like home hosting things. But there is easier options for that as well. Like there's OpenWRT routers now, which can handle almost all of that very, very simply with dynamic DNS and everything, which is pretty much how I do it.
Yeah. So Howie, are there any other last things before we move into the hosting provider section? So you did tease your hosting services. So this is pretty cool that we have another entrant into the market now where we could have hosting providers. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's about it. I think we got everything covered for the most part. If anybody's got any, further questions on anything, feel free to hit me up. I'm always around. Glad to help with anything. Whether it's hosting or whatever.
Appreciate it. Yeah, drop that link to the Coolify page that you're mentioning, and we'll see. I know most recently supported a dev for the GLTF report site or developer. So I can definitely see the community here coming together to support Coolify on what they have. And then for folks that are allergic to terminal, I think there is another option, which is the service provider hosting. So I'll pass it back to you so you could introduce the service hosters where people don't even need command line. They just need to click a couple button mouses mouse buttons, and then they jump into a world. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, we got a couple of links. We got all kinds of links popping up in the side chat. So follow along. There's a lot of good resources there. And yeah, HP is going to take over and talk about hyperworld.host. And I guess you also have it at hyperfy.host now, which is good. You can find it on the hyperfy.how page as well under the hosting providers. And everything we've mentioned about self-hosting is in the hosting self. And Howie will be adding everything he mentioned about Coolify to the docs soon after the call as well. So if that was a lot to digest, there'll be some written guides as well. But yeah, I'll pass it over to you, HP, to showcase what you got going on.
Hey, wait, could you stop the screen sharing, please? Thank you. Okay, do you see it? Yes. So as opposed to the previous option, this is not a self-hosted option. So our service takes care of handling your world, on doing the backup, on all of that. So it comes for a bit more than the previous option, but it starts at $5 a month, which is quite good compared to like hosting it yourself on Digital Ocean or something like that. It requires way less clicks than the other option. So to host the world using our service, hyperworld.host, you can go to hyperworld.host and then click on Start Now for $5. Then you will have to enter your email. So that's the way to log into the service. You just have to put an email. So then you will receive a link. I'm doing that on my second screen. Up. Okay, you will get logged into the dashboard, and there you will be able to create a world, either clicking there on create world or in the menu. It will send you to a simple create page. There you can put your world name. So let's call it Hyper. You put your admin code or your building key. You select a plan, so you can put select whatever plan you see fit to you. You can see the list of features for each. And then you can either pay with Stripe using your credit card or with CryptoMust to pay with crypto. So in that case, we will do it in crypto. Up.
Is CryptoMist available in all countries, or is this a European only thing?
I think you can use it from anywhere. I haven't tried it out of Europe, but there was
I used
many
it in the
sales from all over.
Okay, so we said he used it in the US.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, usually US is most strict with this stuff, so if I can use it, normally everyone can.
Okay, so I send the transaction from my wallet. Let's see if it's arrived. Go on. Else I will manually verify my wallet. Oh, transaction, okay. So it passed. Let's wait a couple more seconds for a transaction. Okay, paid. So now we can go back to the dashboard and you can see that the world is active. So let's go to the world. It might show for a minute while the server starts, but then it will be accessible. So let's just wait a few more seconds for the world to start. And it's up. So you don't have to touch SSH or deploy your own Docker compose file or whatever. You just double click and you get your world. So I think I've put test as admin, yes. So here I can already build. Can go to the marketplace to get anything to deploy. And there it is. So we are adding more feature to it because for the moment there is not much you can do on the dashboard yet, but we are adding some settings that will look like this. Oops, let me, it's here. So we are adding a setting page where you will be able to change your admin code, select, so you will be able to have multiple work folders, so you can change between different folders. So if you want to dev in one world and then move it back to a different one, you will be able to do that. Also upload your world. If you do it in local and then you want to upload it, you will also be able to change the branch on which you are working. So dev main on the different tag available, and you have a click. You have a button to update your world to the latest update on that branch in a single click. You can also reset your world or delete it completely. There will also be a button there very soon to download your world, so you will get like a zip file that you can move to any other host. That's about it.
Yeah.
We also have a marketplace where you can find a lot of Hyperfy.
And could you show us the trick there again? You may have done it too fast for me, but could you show that you could just drag and drop from one screen to the other? I think that's like the coolest thing with
Yes,
Hyperfy.
Yes, that's available with all worlds, not just ours. So from that marketplace, you can find many different Hyper app. And for example, if I want Elisa agent, I need to be admin build mode, and you can just like pick the image and drag it into your world. Let's wait a couple seconds, and there it is. And then you can start talking with it. So, hello, what's Hyperfy? Hyperfy is a virtual world where you can explore, interact with others, and participate in fun activities. Yeah. So there is many apps available. Shifty just released one, I think, where you can throw stuff. Not sure it works.
Press
I think
P.
you have to, you have to get out of build mode, I think.
Okay.
I don't think you switched it yet. It's still, just press P and then you should be able to click and throw.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So many different apps. Those are added by the developer of apps. So anyone can add the app. So that's on the dashboard.
Yeah, and Amka also pointed out that you can drag and drop between tabs, so you don't even have to have both screens on the same place. You can click on the picture in one tab of your browser and then like drag that
Yes,
app.
so here, for example, if I want a speaker from Boogie, I can just pick it up, go to the different tab, and drop it. Oh, I was not in build mode. there it is.
Yeah. I know this. I know this is a server call, but this is so cool. We have to show this like every time. And Howie, I think you had the copy and paste functionality, which hopefully we get that into main, because being able to just copy and paste between worlds is super awesome.
Yeah, and so if you want to add apps, you can go to the dashboard, go to apps, create app, and there you can create your app by adding an app file, image, license if you have one. If it's visible publicly or private, if you want to remove it, you can switch it to private. You can put your Solana address if you want to receive tips. So if you put one, there will be a button for tips. And then you can access your apps. I don't have any right now. Yeah. Any questions?
I guess one question or maybe a comment is that you had this Hyperfy Hyperworld host up and running within like 2 days after Hyperfy V2 code was released, right? Running on
Yes.
a Raspberry.
No, that's running on a dedicated server online, not at my place.
Yeah. It was good stuff. Really appreciate the work you're doing here and helping with the community and the infra side. So definitely want to call that out, that you've been very vocal and supportive in helping us. There are two other hosters as well that haven't been able to make it on to kind of walk through their stuff. And so Lastrum has hyperfyworlds.xyz. I'll post the link here, and also the Numenia folks as well. They haven't done a demo yet, but we'll be bringing them on to kind of show what services they provide that help people, creators, to be able to go and do what they do best, which is create and not have to worry about hosting and managing things. But Umka, I'll pass it back to you. Appreciate it.
So those are a few different options of hosting. As you can see, it's kind of like choose your own adventure. Each one is a little bit differing in difficulty, but each one is pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, they're all going to be in a more written form. The Fly.io is already up there. There are a couple other ones, DigitalOcean and some other BPSs if you want to choose your own adventure. Like how and HP said, and Rustan as well, like everyone is available for questions all the time. So feel free to ping people in general or developers or wherever you need to. And if anything's not clear on the Hyperhouse site, let us know, or feel free to click edit this page and fork and submit. You know, it's a community resource, so everyone's voice is welcome and very much appreciated. So yeah, with that, I think we can kind of wrap it up. We're right at an hour there. We did it.
Yeah, there is a question from Odal Time about daemon multi-thread. Is the daemon multi-threaded? I'm assuming that is a question to HP, whether something in Odal Time, if you could give us some more details, maybe. But yeah, that was the one question I saw. So is the daemon multi-threaded? So no idea what that might mean in terms of hosting provider.
Yeah, I think that would be on HP side. As far as what Jin's saying here with the fully decentralized local first metaverse in a box, some of us, Bogey and Howie and I, have been kind of digging into some different Raspberry Pi and other microprocessor options. We'll throw some links down as well. We found a couple of really good ones that will easily run Hyperfy on it. Also looking at things like Codex, which is a private IPFS solution made from some friends of ours too. And so, yeah, you can have a local first, not cloud hosted instance too. And yeah, that would be a great thing to get into maybe on a later call and kind of dedicate some time at some options for that. There are some pretty cheap microprocessor options that can get you going on that as well. And I'll drop a link to Codex, which is a private alternative to IPFS and Arweave, which is great for storage and stuff. And I think that that's pretty good for this. We're gonna, after this call, moving on, we're gonna start moving into a little more honing in on different skills that you might want to brush up on, like Blender. Howie has a great add-on plugin for Blender that allows you to do a lot of things that prepare assets for Hyperfy. We have some Blender wizards in the house that can share some different tips on optimizing assets, and then we'll move into things like WebXR and some of the folks that have been doing stuff on that, working with meshes and shaders and HDRs and lighting and different things that can make your world pop. So yeah, keep tuning in. If there's anything that you want to hear about, or if you have a skill that you want to offer to people, let us know. I'll put a link in here that has a tally form if you're interested in offering a workshop. It doesn't have to be live. If you'd rather just record something that we can show or put up, feel free to do that too. There's a tally form on here. And there's a link to the discussion board on the repo too. If you have any input on, what you want to learn about, feel free to chime in there or ping any of us here in the server. Souri, do you want to say anything? Highlights of awesomeness going on before we dip out?
Hey, sorry,
Nope.
I'm just working on stuff right now, so I kind of lost track.
How dare you?
Yeah, no, I feel like y'all went over everything. I'm gonna make a montage of all the clips from this week tonight, and I'm just working on Ash with some yeah, we're just trying to do some stuff right now.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody presenting.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Anytime.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.